Hello, my loves. I'm Ellie Frost, and I'm so excited and appreciative of you being here. And I just wanted to share, right? Because I do share quite a lot of passion, and I'm very connected to my work, right? But I do want to just, because I know, like, it's so lovely that people, it's just so nice to be here with you. But I also want to just make something very clear to you, right? That I have gone through a lot of trauma, PTSD, what a lot of us have been through, right? And I am a healer. I think we can tell that. So it's like I have a particular, I've learned to listen to what I'm being guided to do on the planet. And in order to do this, I had to kind of graduate myself, right? From being highly traumatized to clearing my trauma, clearing my PTSD, actually clearing any psychic, emotional attachment to anything I've been through or what has happened to me, into my abundant truth, into my highest vibrational reality, if you like, of life, like my experience of freedom, peace, joy, love, you know what I mean? And because I have a particular purpose and I've already cleared the trauma, I've already I'm strong enough and energetically strong enough to be able to go back into those experiences in a way where I'm emotionally connected. See, the difference between what I can do with you, the reason it's going to move you is because I'm emotionally connected. But I'm emotionally connected not because I'm still there, because I've managed to graduate myself through a number of levels, right, so that I can do my job. If I emotionally disconnect from it, then I'm not going to bring through like the power of this work in the same way. So while I share my heart with you and my truth with you, I'm now at a level where I'm not recommending this to you, by the way. A lot of my clients say, I know that happened to me, but it's kind of like it happened to someone else. Like, we remove the trauma, we remove the angelic charge, and they don't need to be emotionally connected to it. There's no reason for you to do that unless you have a purpose in doing that. But from what I managed to heal, kind of graduate through, the next layer of that I was guided to do was then go back and emotionally connect so I can use it, right? So while I'm very emotionally connected, and you will feel it and hear it, and you'll see my breath and you'll see my passion, just know that it's coming from a connected place, which is not a traumatized place. So like, don't worry about like my well-being in it, because I chose to be emotionally connected still to this work, because I'm healed enough, because I'm energetically strong enough, and because I've reached a level which was part of my abilities to be able to stay emotionally connected and do the work I do. I don't recommend, it's actually unnecessary for you to be able to do that. You don't need to. In fact, you might just heal your trauma and never want to feel or think about anything you've been through again, or it will always influence you. Like I say, I feel like we never deny what we've been through, but I had to reach a level of ascension, I think, where I was able, and I am able to not only self-actualize beyond my own trauma, but then be able to go back and connect emotionally and stay emotionally connected, so I can bring the power of that through without it having any hold or charge on me, but it also being extremely true. I can literally dive back into that and feel it, which is what I share with you, right? And that's also why it's powerful what I do. But I do want you to know that I've gone through a number of ascensions to be able to do that. And as you heal your trauma, you don't need to do that. You don't have to it's not, you see, there's a difference. I wouldn't be able to teach you if I was still traumatized, right? I wouldn't be able to go over those scenarios if I was still traumatized. And there's a different elevation that I've gone through, that I've been ascended through, that I've been divinely guided to do, which was about being able to clear all of that out of the way, right? And then almost like go back in and be able to be very emotionally connected to it at the same time, because I'm healed enough. So when I share it with you, it's extremely real in my emotions, but do bear in mind that I'm at a particular ascension level spiritually where that's okay for me, and it's part of what I'm here to do. I wouldn't be able to do it, and I knew that if I emotionally disconnected. So I had to engineer myself to a level where not only was I free of my trauma, not only am I free of my pain, not only am I living in a completely different reality in my consciousness, in my abundance, in my life, I'm also able to then also completely emotionally reconnect with it without it having any particular pull on me, except for when I choose to use that reconnection for good, use that reconnection for transformation. You know, you can feel it. And if I emotionally disconnected from it, you wouldn't feel it in me because it wouldn't be real. But I am at a level spiritually where I can do that. So I don't know if that needs I know I don't need to explain myself, but I also feel like sometimes when we're healing, right, we think it means we don't feel. In fact, the more healed you are, the more open your heart is, the more you feel. You know, the more, and even if you're not doing what I'm doing, the more healed we are, right, the more I teach you how to be, because again, we're not in a, after trauma, we're not able to go into all of our emotions. We have to do this in a paced way, right, stage by stage way, so that we increase what I keep calling capacity, which is true, in our emotional body, so that we can feel more, so that we can process more, so that we can regulate more through. And then as you go through that ascension, what actually happens is your ability to feel is heightened, because you haven't got any fear, you don't get stuck in pain, but you can connect emotionally deeper. There's no defenses, there's no how do I explain this, there's no resistance to it, and it's not going to cause you any damage. So I'm emotionally present in such a huge way, and you can feel it, and it has to be that way, because I wouldn't be able to bring this work through any other way. But know that I've gone through a number of spiritual ascensions, which makes me able to do that. And actually, in the work I'm going to teach you, what you'll be able to do, what you'll find is, once you've released all the old crap, that you're, first of all, you'll just be regulating, you'll just be processing your emotions, being healthy, letting your body release emotions. Like I said in that video, like, releasing emotions has to be done every day, like processed, a bit like we go and poop, right? It needs to be flushed out of our system. We've not been taught this. It's a very natural thing for the body to do. And when the body's releasing emotions, we don't get PTSD. When the body's back in balance, and actually we understand our emotional bodies, we literally regulate, we literally flush things through. And at that point, your capacity to feel goes up, because you're not in defense, you're not in any kind of fear. You don't go, like I said to you, like, energy is swirly, and when we're traumatized, it's very linear and stuck. And so, like, we can't receive anymore when we're stuck, we can't receive anything else, everything will overwhelm us. Whereas when we're fluid and our bodies are regulated and freer, then, like, we actually feel deeper, because we've got more capacity to. So my capacity to feel is massive, right? It's massive, not just because I'm highly sensitive, but because I've built capacity over time by healing my trauma, by healing my PTSD, and by now at this level, which is extraordinary, really, being able to not only hold all of that, but hold more, and even reconnect to past things that would have traumatized me in a very true, very emotional way that doesn't actually imbalance me in any way. But you know, there are stages. So just so you understand that, and what's actually possible, and also why I am emotionally connected to my work, and it doesn't traumatize me, and my well-being is absolutely brilliant, and I'm on cloud 9 most of the time, out, you know, and I care about what I do, and it has to matter, and that's why I stay emotionally connected. But I've gone through a number of elevations to get here, but it's the same process I'm going to take you through. And what you'll find is, you'll love harder, you'll feel deeper, you won't have any resistance to it, and it won't hold you up. And I'm a testament to that. So I think it's a good thing to explain. It's part of our healing journey, and it's also part of, like, what you're witnessing in me. Because trust me, like, I can go back to the darkest parts of my life, not only go back to them, and I'm not suggesting you do this, by the way. Like I say, with trauma release, I disconnect the energetic charge of people. They don't end up, like some ladies were saying, you know, they've disconnected emotionally, but they're starting having hives and physical symptoms. That's because the trauma is not healed, right? It will manifest in a different way. If we suppress it in one way but don't fully heal it, it comes out in another way. I'm clean energetically in that way, so I can actually, it's a different elevation, but I mean, it's what's possible. You don't need to do it. I've got a particular purpose. I'm a healer. Like, this is part of the power of my work. But like for you, it's like, you'll increase your capacity the more work of this work I teach that you do, so that not only can you hold, not only can you process what you've been through, right, you can hold more depth of emotion comfortably and be with it and feel deeper. And I don't know, it's a richer experience, and it's a safer experience, and it's an intense experience, but we've got this ability, once we're more fluid, and actually it's not a stressful experience that puts us into resistance and trauma and lockdown. We can turn up the intensity the more capacity we have, which means that everything gets turned up, you know, like we can feel, and it doesn't have to affect us, doesn't have to set us back. It's just like the love we feel is more intense, so could be the pain, right? But it doesn't actually stick with us. So while I can go into things when I teach you of where I felt, and you can feel it from me, right, it doesn't actually stay with me. This is what's possible. I think you can see it demonstrated. If you saw the last video, you can see I'm really in it, and it's real for me, right? But I have developed, because of my modalities, because of what I teach you, because of the thing I channel through, right, an ability to be that connected and also free. It's an interesting thing, but at least you can witness it in action. So like, it's an ascension, it's what it is. And you won't go straight there. You might not ever want to reconnect emotionally to anything you've been through in the same way, but you'll certainly be able to process more, hold more, be more fluid with your emotional intelligence and processing, right? And for me, I've gone way past that. So not only that, I can connect to past things in a really strong emotional way and still completely be free. Like, it's kind of an interesting thing. So I hope I explained that well. I think it's a good thing to witness, right? And you'll see where I'm coming from, because it's extremely, all of it's real for me, but it's a very different way of being, right? And that's what I'm going to take you to, a different way of being, right? Your beingness, your experienceness is different at each level I take you through, because you ascend differently, you shift differently, your experience of your emotions and traumas and stuff, it doesn't exist in the same way. So I hope that makes sense. I thought I should just say it because you can see it, right? But I want you to understand that it's not necessarily what you might, it doesn't have any hold in the same way, even though it's so intense and real for me because of the work I've done. It's a testament to this, and I want you to know that. So lots of love, guys. I'll speak to you soon.